So remember when I said I was going to dress like Cate Blanchett from Ocean's 8? Every video leading up to the movie, and maybe, like, let's be frank, probably like after the movie. So I got a haircut. It's kind of like the length that she has. I mean, I don't have the bangs, and her hair is like straight, and I feel like it's a shaggier cut, which, like, I personally don't want. Imagine if I just came back with like that exact hair. I mean, like, it's kind of close. Hello and welcome to my May reading wrap up. I read 5 books this month, and let's get started. The first book that I read and that I ended the month with is The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. This took me a whole month to read. I was reading other things while I was reading this, but this book is a journey. It's the first Murakami book that I've read. It's very hard to explain this book. Like, it's a mystery, but it's also about like a marriage, and it's quite strange. And I took it very slow reading through it, especially in the beginning, which I didn't mind, and I was enjoying it. I don't know if this book was for me. One thing that bothered me is how he writes all the women characters in the book. They're all pretty like sexualized, and they kind of have a manic pixie dream girl-esque quality to them. Like, all the characters that like the main character meets are kind of like strange. It was a journey, and I don't know if this is for me, but if you have read him and you have recommendations of what other things I might enjoy, I would love to hear that. So next book I read, not in any particular order because I don't know what I read in what order, is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is a reread. Rainbow Rowell is one of my favorite writers, and it's hard for me to like rank her books, but Fangirl and Attachments are definitely like top for me. I was feeling like I just wanted something familiar, so I picked this up because it was time for a reread, and it's so good. I really love the dynamic of the relationships in her books. I love just the regular conversations that they have because they just feel so natural and real, and she's just one of my favorite writers. The next book I picked up is Ms. Marvel, Volume 8. As you know, I always love Ms. Marvel. I think this is a very solid, good series, and one that I follow. So if you haven't been reading it, I highly recommend starting off with the first one. Next book I read is Wade in the Water by Tracy K. Smith. It is a collection of poems, and she is the Poet Laureate of the United States. She also won a Pulitzer Prize. She's very talented. This came in my Shakespeare & Company subscription box, the second one that I received. This is good. I never quite know what to say about poetry. I feel like I feel like I'm not qualified to talk about it, but I feel like usually poetry demands more effort to be made to be to delve into the poem itself. This is quite nice. And the last book that I read is Packing My Library by Alberto Guel, an elegy and 10 digressions. So in 2015 he had to pack up his library and his home, and he was living in the countryside in France, and he kind of talks about his experience with books and his personal library and how he keeps his books. And now and then, like, there's 10, like the book says, there's 10 digressions where he talks about something else about books and reading. If you are a person who likes books and likes books about books, and he's currently the director of the National Library of Argentina, so he knows what he's talking about. He knows books, and just talking about his personal collection of books was so interesting, and how he keeps his books. And he also has this line that I found really funny near the beginning. So early in the beginning he's talking about his personal library and what order he puts his books in, and this line I thought was really funny. And he writes, "I had on the shelves dozens of very bad books, which I didn't throw away in case I ever need an example of a book I thought was bad," which I thought was quite funny. This also came in the Shakespeare & Company box. That is what I read in the month of May. Let me know what you've been reading. If you have any nice, like, summery, relaxing, I'm just gonna sit outside reading type books, let me know what you would recommend, because I have a list, but I like knowing what other people are reading and would read outside. You can read anything outside. Anyways, that is all for me. I hope you're well, and I never know how to end these. Goodbye.